Welcome to the Dan Casper Show podcast, your chance to catch the full show anytime, anywhere. If you missed it live on the radio, no worries. We've got you covered with all the sports talk, opinions, interviews, and conversations from the show. From the Packers to the Brewers to the biggest stories in sports and around Wisconsin, it's all right here. This is the Dan Casper Show podcast. Second hour kicking off right now on this Thursday morning. Thanks for making us a part of your start and waking up with us and joining in on the conversation as we are talking plenty of Brewers, with the Brewers sweeping the Cubs yesterday. Thanks to Kyle Harrison and his dominant performance. David Hamilton with a Little League home run and then a triple. It was the former Red Sox that had themselves a series against the Chicago Cubbies. So plenty more baseball talk coming your way this morning. We also got Craig Toyson from the Express joining us about 2 hours from now. We'll catch up with Jake Bilks, our DNR Warden buddy, at 8:30 for our Tailgate Outdoors. So if you have a question, please text it over to us on that Shoe Doctors bullpen line at 715-830-1912. If you are interested in this too, so yesterday we talked with Ty from Slab Factory, and if you missed that convo, it is up on Man Cave Podcast. But obviously the story was, so Ty, he pulled a very rare Tom Brady autographed card. It is up at auction. The auction ends tonight. So if you want to follow along with it, it's up to $200K right now. $200K. If you listen to the interview, Ty would kind of negotiate between Fanatics and Golden to see which one was going to auction it, and they sent him insured envelope to send to him for $499,000. So that's kind of the price that maybe they're potentially thinking here. Wow. So it's still at $200,000 with 31 bids with just under 13 hours left to go. So be interesting to see how much this ends up for. But this little local guy, Ty from Slab Factory right on Claremont Avenue, is one of one card. So I'm curious to see where this thing be a life-changing thing, man. Holy moly, man, pay off a lot of bills for that thing. But curious to see how that ends up playing out. He's got to be a nervous wreck, I would say, today. So, all right, let's. So we'll get to the ABS one. A lot of you say, and yes, you think ABS is going to limit or not have a perfect game so far, or for the near future. I'll get to that here in a little bit, but I want to kick it off talking a little Rodgers, and I know he's not a part of the Packers and such, but yesterday he did announce that he is going to. This is going to be his last year. He's done. Let me actually play the clip here. From Aaron Rodgers yesterday from his press conference, audio courtesy from the NFL here.
Yeah, I love Mike T. I mean, I really appreciate the opportunity to come in last year and love my experience with him. And, I thought when he said he was stepping away, that was an emotional moment just because we all love him so much and care about him. And, I thought that that was probably it for me in Pittsburgh. But when the decision was made to hire Mike, I started opening my mind back up to coming back.
Could be your last year. Do you even think of that right now?
Yes. This is it. Yeah.
All right. So saying this is it for him this year. So the question that I want to throw out there: will you be maybe, kind of, possibly, perhaps, or not even going to pay a little bit more attention to Aaron Rodgers, knowing this is the last run for him? Yay or nay? How about you, intern?
I kind of paid attention to him a little last year. I've always liked Aaron Rodgers. So I'll definitely watch whatever I can when I can, but I don't think I'll necessarily do it any more than like normal.
I think I will. And I think Surveyor kind of summed it up for me because, and maybe this is more of my generation era type of thing. You know, when he was drafted, I was in college. I was my first year? Yeah, first year in college. And, obviously I had Favre and Rodgers grew up with and that. But during my, shall we say, college youth, college tenure and early adulthood and that, Rodgers was the quarterback, obviously, Super Bowl 45 and a lot of good moments and that. So I think I've always approached these. I know if we've had these discussions about watching a player at the end of his year. Would you is it must watch? Kobe, for me, I know that was a big one for a lot of people. There was a big debate. Are you going to pay the extra money to go watch Kobe at the end, even though he's not Kobe anymore? And that it's almost not to kind of make it morbid or thing. It's almost like a funeral where you're kind of saying your last goodbyes and watching it. A player that you probably watched for a long time, a high-level player, one of the better players of all time. You maybe kind of tune in one more time because you know you're not going to see him play anymore. So, honestly, I probably will just because, let's face it, 22, 23 years. I'll be 40 in a couple months, and this was maybe this was not a debate, but a conversation I had with somebody a few years ago who was the same age as me. Is Favre the quarterback of our generation, or is Rodgers the quarterback of our generation? And it obviously depends on age in that, because I remember Super Bowl 31. I was in 5th grade when Favre and Reggie White in that. But then Super Bowl 45, I was, how old was I? Anyways, I was a couple years out of college. A couple years out of college. So it's different age, different generations, right? And it's a good conversation to have. But regardless, it's kind of the end of an era, too, with those older quarterbacks, like the surveyor said. Brady, Roethlisberger, Rivers, Breeze, all those guys that were together with Rodgers, and he's kind of the last one standing now. So, yeah, I honestly feel like I probably will be paying a little bit more attention. I think the fact that Mike McCarthy is the head coach over there, too, yeah, and if it doesn't affect the Packers, if it doesn't, get in their way of winning a Super Bowl or winning a championship, I do have a soft spot for the Steelers this year.
Yeah, I do think if the Packers can't get to the Super Bowl, I'll be totally fine if the Steelers win it. And I think, he's done so much for the Packers that it's only right to treat him well late in his career.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought he would come back. I'm glad he did. I kind of wanted to, like you said, a send-off, but it'll be interesting to watch how he plays at 42.
It will be. And I know probably as soon as this season is over with, a lot of Packers fans are probably going to ask the question, when's the number going to be retired? When's the name going to go up there? When's the ceremony? Because that'll be a hot ticket. When are they going to welcome Rodgers back to Green Bay? Kind of like what they did with Brett, in that. And I don't know if it'll be a right away thing. It's a little bit of a different scenario between the Packers and Favre because there was just this really bad breakup. Mm-hmm. It's different with this one. Rodgers has had nothing but positive things to say about Green Bay, positive things to say about Jordan Love. There's no drama between that. So I don't know if it would be fairly quick, kind of like what Brady and the Patriots was. It was pretty quick when Brady was done with the Buccaneers and that. We'll just wait and see. There's a lot of time yet to figure that thing out. So.
Do you think it would have been any different if Rodgers would have gone to the Vikings?
Oh, 100%. Or Bears or whatever, 100%. Any division team. Yes. Yep. No doubt. The fact that it's the AFC too, mm-hmm. Jets and the Steelers, yeah, it makes it a lot easier. Because if Rodgers would have suited up for Minnesota, let's say last year, and even if he still said all these positive things about Green Bay, it still would be, Packers fans would still be annoyed because, he'd be coming to Green Bay. Green Bay would be facing him twice. He'd have boo birds. It's the Vikings. Sure. It's kind of similar. It's not completely, but, when Favre went to the Jets, there was still a lot of Favre supporters. I was one of them. And I watched Jets games. I got a Favre Jets jersey. But as soon as it was the Vikings, it was different. It was completely different because how could you do that to go to a division rival? And we knew that and the part of it was we knew he did not like the Packers at that point. He wanted to get back at them. Whereas if Rodgers went to Minnesota, I don't think it necessarily would have been. In fact, this is what I believe. I don't think it would have been just as a revenge thing to get back at Green Bay. I think it was purposely just to try to win another championship. I don't think revenge would have been on his mind. Whereas Favre, yeah, he had a really good team with Minnesota, could have won a Super Bowl, but I think the ulterior motive was revenge against Green Bay.
I think some of these older quarterbacks, they like the idea of beating their former team. Mm-hmm. It's interesting to me because, obviously, in my opinion, I think Rodgers tried to go to the Vikings last year. I think that's where he wanted to go, and they just didn't want him. But, and like you said, I don't think it was necessarily for revenge. But I do think he was a little bit like, well, I can go back and beat the Packers.
And I think that's natural for anybody, And he will finish his career unless they meet in a Super Bowl. The only team he has not beaten is Green Bay. So,
which I'm good with.
Yeah. I hope they don't face each other in a Super Bowl.
I'm good with it. Then we're in a Super Bowl.
Well, I'm saying I don't want Pittsburgh and Green Bay because then it's like, on one hand, I want Green Bay to win. It'll always be the team. But then it's like, now Rodgers McCarthy, which I'll be happy that they get 2, but then it came at the cost of Green Bay. It's like, I don't want to play that emotional mind game with myself and just stress myself out and have anxiety more than I already do. So, but no, I'll pay attention a little bit more to it for sure. So, but get ready for a lot of, I don't even know the primetime games that the Steelers have this year, but that'll be pumped up more knowing that this is a farewell tour. And you're going to bring that up. NFL is probably thinking, hey, Rodgers, why couldn't you say this earlier so maybe we could have adjusted the schedule? So they got a Thursday. Oh, that's not even that great, to be honest with you.
5 games.
Week 4, Week 10, Week 12, Week 13, Week 14. And there's flex scheduling, so that'll be interesting to see how it plays out towards the end. Especially if it's like a playoff spot on the line for Week 18. Win, you're in, but it also could be Rodgers' final game.
Well, the problem is that could happen, and they'll probably flex that to a night game. But you also, with the NFC North, I mean, those are likely going to be key games as well. Mm-hmm. And then you get the NFC, West, with the Rams and the Seahawks. And
49ers.
There's a lot of good games Week 18.
Mm-hmm. Yep. All right. We got to take a quick break. Plenty more to get to, though. Let us know your thoughts, all right? What would you do, or what are you going to do? We'll be right back after these few words. Dings, dents, or something more serious? Don't stress about it. Just head to Superior Auto Body. From minor touch-ups to major collision repair, they are your go-to team for getting your vehicle back to looking like new. With experienced technicians and attention to every detail, Superior Auto Body takes pride in doing the job right the first time. So when life happens to your vehicle, trust the team that Eau Claire drivers rely on. Superior Auto Body, your go-to place for all of your auto body needs. Superior Auto Body, our official partners for Backyard Dreams. We've got Chadwick, a.k.a. C-Bomb, and Zach on the video stream saying, Zach says, yeah, I'll be watching every game that I can. Does anyone else think that he's going to ball out this upcoming season with it being his last run? C-Bomb says, for me, both are the quarterbacks of my generation. I saw the entire careers. I would say anyone under 40, it is Rodgers, 22 years with 20 seasons for 4. I hope it's early season for 12 going. I hope it's early in the season for 12 going in the Ring of Honor. Going to Brett's, it was 35 degrees and raining on Thanksgiving night. I was miserable. So, C-Bomb also says, I have a Favre Southern Miss in Atlanta, Green Bay, and Jets jersey. Never would get the purple one. Like Mike Singletary said, won't do it, can't do it. So, Zach says, I wish I could have seen Favre in his prime. For me, he was at the end of his career. I remember the end of his run in Green Bay. So for me, it's Rodgers. I'm kind of in the same area with C-Bomb, but I'd probably lean slightly to Rodgers, was probably the quarterback of my generation. I mean, again, Super Bowl 31, I was in 5th grade. I remember it clearly. I remember the NFC Championship loss to Dallas and all that. So all through my elementary, high school, and towards the end of my college years was Favre. Then at the end of my college career to adulthood and such was Rodgers. So it just kind of depends on there. But yeah, I was spoiled with quarterback play. That's essentially what should be saying here. Definitely spoiled. Me, C-Bomb, and others in our area. The thing is, I would love, the one thing I would love to kind of redo, Favre playing in the social media era. Mm-hmm. I would love to see the reaction from fans. Like, put Favre playing right now. Same thing. You're going to get the same type of play, same type of career. The amount, I would be curious to hear from Packers fans or see Packers fans' reactions to Favre and interceptions that he's thrown, or why are you throwing it there? What are you doing here? That I would love to see the Facebook or the social media reaction to Favre.
I feel like it'd be so up and down just because how many interceptions.
Yeah, and just to me, I think it's still so interesting to see Favre and Rodgers back to back in their careers and how different they were. Favre throwing that thing up, giving players a chance, throwing stupid like, what are you doing there? To where Rodgers holding it on, not throwing it was such the opposite ends of the pole. Completely different. I mean, there was so many games. It was a 4th and 26 game, I believe. And in the playoff, it's like Favre just throws that up in overtime against Philly. It's like, what are you doing? You know, or the NFC Championship game in that pick when we were there freezing our buns off. It's like, why? When you got like Jennings over there, it's like, those type of plays, right? Every quarterback has them, but Favre had more than any other one. So I kind of wish I could have seen Favre in the social. Maybe not, because I would have stressed myself out too much, and that would have given me probably stress, high blood pressures and that. So Surveyor says the scriptwriters in the NFL are going to have a field day with the Rodgers farewell. Favre was my childhood quarterback. He retired when I was a junior in high school. Oh, man, now I feel old, Surveyor. And Rodgers was my entire adult life, so I can't choose who was my quarterback of generation because they both are. Yeah, it's tough. We're kind of at that weird age group. But did you ever see Favre play in here? You don't. You're
when I was like two.
So you don't remember anything?
No, not really.
And that's when he wasn't with Green Bay, right?
Yeah.
So if you've seen highlights and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I wonder what the narrative would be like if he played during social media era. How different it would be. Something to ponder, though. That's for sure. So, how about the rest of you? Yeah, there's a few of you. We have one texter that said too that they'll be paying a little bit more attention to Rodgers this year because he was my favorite quarterback and still is my favorite quarterback. Don't have a name with that texter. So, all right, I might have to. I used to like collect a bunch of Rodgers cards. Then I stopped when he stopped playing for Green Bay. Starting to get a little bit. I'll admit it. Little confession here. The fact that it is going to be his final year, too, starting to get a little that soft spot for Rodgers again. Like, because it's like the end of an era. It's the end of one of my greatest, I'd probably say Rodgers. Oh, no, I'm not going to go there. I was going to say Rodgers is my quarterback, but I can't yet. Too many good moments between the two.
I think Aaron Rodgers retiring ends the quarterback era where you can tackle the quarterbacks. And, like, I don't even know would be next, technically, to Aaron Rodgers. But that was, his era was kind of the one where you could hit the quarterback. There was less pass interference calls. The game was what it was supposed to be. And now we're in an era where you can't touch the quarterback, and the pass interference is crazy. So I think also that's an era that's dying where it was like NBA, like real basketball dying. Like that's kind of dying too.
No. It's going to be, going to be weird, especially with McCarthy being. I thought it was interesting. Apparently Rodgers, you go back to a few years ago when these two were still in Green Bay, and all the stories and rumors that they hated each other, they didn't like each other. And I'm sure there was disagreements, and they both acknowledged that. And I think that's kind of natural at that point. There's maybe some frustration growing because they're not winning more championships and that. But apparently Rodgers did tell Omar Khan, the GM of the Steelers, he did give – he's like, you should interview McCarthy for the job. He didn't really push it, but he did give him kind of an endorsement that way. And the fact, in the clip we played – it sounds like if Mike McCarthy would not have been the head coach, Rodgers probably isn't coming back.
Yeah.
So I don't think the Steelers made that hire just to bring Rodgers back for one more year. I think a lot of it has to deal with McCarthy's background in developing younger quarterbacks, which I think is they got to figure that out. And they got to figure out if it's a guy that they have on the roster right now or if that's going to be somebody that's not on the roster in this what's supposed to be a better draft coming up. The thing is, too, with Pittsburgh, you're kind of at that weird thing. You've got some good players on your team, like a T.J. Watt, DK, and that. But you need that quarterback for the future. It's almost like you don't want to be too good where you're going to have a pick way back, You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, they are too good to be bad.
Yeah.
They're going to go likely 8-9 or 9-8, almost make the playoffs and pick like 15th. And this is a deep quarterback class, but I don't know if it's that deep.
I think we're getting way ahead of ourselves in this, but depending on where they pick, would you trade a bunch of picks to move up to maybe get an Arch Manning? Can you imagine a Manning in Pittsburgh? Oh, God. You want to talk about scriptwriters in the NFL surveyor? The NFL scriptwriters would love that thing.
Yes.
And I don't know if Arch Manning would be the top quarterback. That's the name that everybody's going to talk about in next year's draft. So. All right, we got to take another break here. We'll get back to some more baseball talk as we continue to recap yesterday's win and a series sweep against the Chicago Cubbies. Something I was kind of throwing out yesterday, I'll kind of bring back up here, is Memorial Day, how do you view that as a benchmark in Major League Baseball? Like, I think we can all agree it is a benchmark, but a benchmark for what? If that kind of makes sense. Let me know. I'm kind of curious. How do you approach the Memorial Day weekend for your baseball team? Is it this is when we know what we have as a team, or is it a little bit different? What is it? We'll take a quick break and get back to some more baseball talk coming up after these quick words. Sunshine road trips and summer adventures are calling. Is your vehicle ready? At AJM Automotive in Eau Claire, they'll make sure that you hit the road with confidence. From AC checks and oil changes to brakes and full inspections, AJM Automotive has you covered before the heat kicks in. With 2 convenient Eau Claire locations, expert service is always just around the corner. Don't let car trouble slow you down for your summer plans. Schedule your appointment today by visiting ajmautomotiveservices.com. AJM Automotive, keeping you cool, safe, and road trip ready all summer long. You found, I did not see this, but you found this quote from Mike McCarthy. Was it yesterday? You said that? Or maybe, yeah. Okay, this is from yesterday. What did he have to say about Mason Rudolph?
He said, quote, I wanted to draft Mason Rudolph to replace Rodgers someday. Packers waited for 2020 instead.
So Rudolph was in the 2018 draft, which was Goody's first year as a general manager for the Packers. So maybe he didn't want to do that right away as his first year as GM. I don't know, but kind of an interesting nugget.
Yeah, that'd been rough.
Yeah, but we'll see how it plays out. We'll even see if Rudolph is going to be the guy to maybe even next. Maybe, yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting. So. Let's get back to some more baseball talk here as the Crew sweeping the Cubbies yesterday behind Kyle Harrison, and a dominant performance from him going 7 innings, just giving up a couple hits, and one of them was that doubler in the first inning, and then they threw out him trying to to take third, Nico Horner. But just 2 hits, 11 Ks, 1 walk. Just lights out performance. Lights out performance from Kyle Harrison for this young pitcher. And as Pat Murphy said after the game yesterday, we're a young team, but I trust these guys. They have high expectations of themselves, and we have high standards too. You look at Miz and you look at Kyle Harrison, when those two guys, if they're going to be back-to-back in this lineup, in this pitching rotation, opposing teams should be worried because these two, Mizorowski's the real deal. I agree with you. I think he's a top 5 pitcher in Major League Baseball right now. Harrison, I'm not ready to do that yet just because of his youth and that, but right now he is pitching like it. And with these two, you throw in Brandon Woodruff when he comes back, and then you've got a mixture of whether it's Logan Henderson, Coleman Crow, Brandon Sproat. Is this a staff that's good enough for a deep postseason run right now? I think so. I think it is. Not a ton of experience outside of Brandon Woodruff. But, when you get to that trade deadline, which we got time. We got time yet. But a lot of teams are looking for starters, right? Starting pitchers or bullpen pitchers. Early stuff, right? I don't know if the Brewers have a need in that area at this point. Maybe another bullpen arm to replace like Zerpa, who's done for the year or such. But I got a ton of trust in these guys so far.
And again, when you can just spot start Logan Henderson and he gives you 6 innings, and Gasser's coming up and he struggled, but he gave you 4 innings of 2-run baseball. Mm-hmm. That's insanely deep.
Look at the issue that the Cubs are in right now with their injuries to their starting pitchers. And you look at a team like the Brewers, who have insane depth. And the Brewers were kind of in that spot last year with early injuries to their starters. And I know we talked to, I think it was Hunter Baumgart about this too. You look at the offseason, what the Brewers did with pitchers and acquiring pitchers like a Kyle Harrison, like a Brandon Sproat and those guys. Was that kind of in the forefront of their mind of what happened last year with a lot of their injuries? And you look at what they did and kind of like, hey, and that plan's worked out so far. The fact that you can fill in spot starts with a Logan Henderson and those guys, yeah, like you said, speaks to the depth of that volume they have.
And you look at the difference between the Cubs and the Brewers. The Cubs traded their number 1 prospect for Edward Cabrera, the starting pitcher from the Marlins. And he hasn't been great. And the Brewers traded Durbin for Harrison, Drohan, and Hamilton. And, I mean, that's the difference is insane because Cabrera's not the pitcher that Harrison has been.
Right.
And then you add 2 other impact players. There's your difference between the 2 franchises.
Mm-hmm. Oh, 100%. I don't think the Red Sox are going to want to do any trades with the Brewers anytime soon here after that. Or I don't know if the Brewers are. I think it's in the NFL, like the joke is if the Eagles and Howie Roseman are calling you, you don't answer. Maybe you don't answer if the Brewers are calling you and Matt Arnold's calling you right now because, it's, again, I know there's a lot of baseball left to be played, but right now you embrace it and you just tip your cap to how well this team is performing and how well a lot of these different players are getting the job done for the Brewers.
And again, we don't know what he's going to give, but we're missing our best pitcher from last year. Quinn Priester was arguably our best pitcher last year.
Yeah.
And he has not pitched practically all year. So
he hasn't pitched in the regular season all year.
So, I mean, this has been an incredible start.
Mm-hmm. And this is without Brandon Woodruff in the lineup in the last few turns, too.
Mm-hmm.
It is literally being led by a bunch of kids. Mizorowski is like the veteran of this staff. Logan Henderson, Kyle Harrison. I'm putting Chad Patrick in the bullpen now. I'm just looking at starters, kind of. Coleman Crow. It's Robert Gasser actually made his debut a couple years ago, so he's a little bit older than Mizorowski. But these are kids that is leading this group, and they're just, I don't know if they're playing. They're going out there with this "I've got nothing to lose" mentality. And just playing the loose or what. But, again, I think a ton of credit has to go to Contreras, too, with working with these young pitchers. We know he's hard on them. We've heard this. We heard it earlier in the season, like Mizorowski talked about it. And you could tell if you're paying attention to a game, if a pitcher's a little bit off and that throw comes in a little hot, you could tell Contreras is a little annoyed. Mm-hmm. So Contreras holds those pitchers to a really high standard, too. And I think that's just a trickle-down effect probably from the coaching staff, manager staff, Chris Hook, Jim Henderson. They have put over the last year, how many years, a ton of resources in developing these pitchers. And I think you're seeing the fruits of the labor right now.
And I think that's Contreras' best part of his game.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's a good hitter. He can hit for power. Hasn't shown it this year, but he can hit for power. But like you said, you look what he's done with these pitchers. I mean, Gary Sanchez is good, but when Gary Sanchez catches one of these younger pitchers, they're not as good as when Contreras catches them. And he's done it in back-to-back years, and it's been so impressive to watch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Carl said that teams should offer a trade with the Brewers and find out who the Brewers want and then back out of that trade and sign them to a big contract. Yeah. But one of your takeover questions was regarding Joey Ortiz. What was
If
that
they
again?
send Joey Ortiz down, do you think it would affect the chemistry of this infield? You know, you talk about, because Rengifo can't get sent down. Hamilton could, but he's, in my opinion, you have to have Hamilton on your
Of those
roster.
three, I think you keep Hamilton,
Yes.
for sure. If we don't have to worry about send-downs or anything like that.
And so, you know, we sent down Bryce Terang a couple years ago. It was early June. He had a better OPS and average than Ortiz does right now. And look what he's become. But at the same time, they're now winning. So you don't want to affect the clubhouse. And so I'm interested. I don't think they'll ever send Joey down. But if they did, I'm interested to see if it would affect the clubhouse.
Yeah. Adam McCulvey, actually, just a couple days ago, had a piece up, says these two Brewers prospects are knocking at the door. This was back on the 19th that he wrote this, and said, I'll just kind of paraphrase a little bit here. It says, meanwhile, two of MLB Pipeline's top prospects, Jet Williams and Cooper Pratt, have been on fire at AAA. The organization has a lot riding on both players after dealing pitcher Freddie Peralta in the January trade that landed Williams from the Mets and spending more than $50 million to lock up Pratt with a long-term extension. Pratt plays major league caliber defense at shortstop, which is critical because the incumbent Joey Ortiz has been delivering sensational defense. Williams can play second, third, short, and the outfield. He has been playing mostly third base this season and playing the position well, according to Pat Murphy. But where is the tipping point between exercising patience with the players you know and taking a chance on the players you don't know? Those are the questions that Milwaukee officials have spent a lot of time on in recent days. There's no answer to that, Murphy said. It's a combination of so many things, including the needs of the major league club. I used to think this. I used to think that it's the point where the player is just absolutely ticked. And he's like, what else do I have to do to show this is ridiculous? When he's at that point, maybe he's ready. That's what I used to think. But now I've seen so many young guys come up and fit in pretty well and do well. So for me, there is no really right time. Just kind of this. So again, this was through last Sunday. Williams with 87 plate appearances, 333 average with a 1.098 OPS. Cooper Pratt, 87 plate appearances, 304 average with a 1.024 OPS. Compared to Joey Ortiz, 45 plate appearances, 211. Luis, 63 plate appearances, 241. Hamilton, I think this number is probably up a little bit more, but at that time, again, this was through Sunday, 49 plate appearances and 209. Now, there is a difference between AAA and Major League Baseball. Understand that and such. But at what point do you, maybe more so Jet Williams because it's third base, right? Mm-hmm. You know, we focus on Cooper Pratt because of the contract, obviously, that he has signed in that. But what about Jet Williams? considering the versatility that he can also give you playing multiple spots.
And again, I'm more interested who are they going to send down.
Mm-hmm.
I think that Jet or I don't know but one of them should be up already. Either Jet or why can't I think of his name?
Cooper Pratt.
One of them, in my opinion, should be up by now because, again, you're not getting any production from your bottom of the order. And Ortiz has struggled defensively this year. I think he's kind of pressing at the plate. That's led to some struggles defensively. He's still a Gold Glove caliber shortstop, but he wasn't what he was last year. And David Hamilton's good, but he's not great. And I feel like Jet Williams could give you more, but I also don't know who you'd send down.
I'm trying to see if I can see some of his updated numbers here so far. Okay, so yesterday, Jet Williams, all he did was just collect a couple more hits and had 3 total bases. He is hitting. What's his season? Can I get the season average? Okay, so it says. All right, so the numbers, just froze up on me. But anyways, I wonder if Jet's going to be the guy that gets called up first at some point. Right now, I think you go Jet Williams first.
Yeah. The
other thing too is you still got Luis Lara that is just raking. I think. Now it's just me. I think Garrett Mitchell's on a very thin line because he's not getting consistent starts now. Jake Bauers, the way he's hitting, you've got to keep him in that lineup. And depending on pitching matchups, he's probably going to be in left field if he's not first base. That means Cheerios in center then, and Frelick's in right. Bauers and Mitchell are both lefties. Right now, who do you want at the plate? The guy that's got a 21 on-base streak and 11-game hitting streak? Yeah, that's the guy I want, and that's Jake Bauers. That's not Garrett Mitchell. But I'm also assuming that Jake Bauers is not going to be able to keep up with that pace. And if that's not the case, but you got Lara over there who's still hitting 345 with a 971 OPS, and he's got 7 home runs. Is that a potential move too?
I don't see them sending down Garrett Mitchell anytime soon. I think if they were going to call up Lara, he would have already been called up. Blake Perkins is still on the MLB roster.
I think a lot of that's because of Lockridge on the injured list.
Yeah. But I'm surprised they're keeping Perkins. Like, if they wanted to call up Lara, I would be surprised if it wasn't Perkins being sent down. Because they sent him down already, then immediately called him back up.
Because of the Lockridge.
Yeah.
And I think if you bring up Lara, you have to play him, though. You can't sit him on the bench, because if you're going to call him up, you want to get him ABs, and that's where it may come from, like even more Garrett Mitchell at-bats. Yeah. So it's a loaded AAA team. It's a loaded AAA team. So, all right, we got to take a quick break. We're a little bit behind here, so we're going to be wrapping up the second quarter. We'll be right back after these quick words. Summer is almost here, and that means it's also time to freshen up your home from the ground up with Carpet City Flooring Center. Whether you're hosting some backyard get-togethers, opening the doors to family and friends, or you're just ready for a seasonal refresh, new flooring can completely transform your space. From soft, comfortable carpet to durable luxury vinyl planks, Carpet City Flooring Center has everything you need to bring your vision to life. It's not just about the looks. It's about quality that you can count on and expert guidance every step of the way. Their team is ready to help you find the perfect fit for your style, your needs, and your budget. So before summer officially kicks off, make sure your home is ready to shine. Stop on in to Carpet City Flooring Center today and take the first step towards a space that you will love all season long. Just a few minutes left to the top of the hour here. Then we'll be at halftime already on this Thursday morning. So get your questions in now, kind of your second to last final call to text your outdoor-related questions for Mr. Jake Boakes. You can send those on over to us, 715-830-1912. Yep, we did talk about Pete Crow Armstrong's error last night. As I don't know this texter is, but says couldn't have happened to a better person. That was 2 nights in a row, though. He dropped the ball the night before, and then last night, such Gold Glove my eye right now. But for crying out loud, it's like, I don't know. That's why I said, I put it up on my Facebook page, every youth Little League coach should be showing their kids that play. And it's like, that's why you don't be lazy in the outfield. Or don't get lazy going after a ball either, too, because not only was he lazy with putting the glove down and lifted up, but then he kind of jogged right away. It's like, dude, come on.
Yeah.
Come on, man. So maybe that White Sox fan really got in his head. You know, that viral clip of that White Sox, she was giving him the business. Maybe it got into his head big time. So I didn't mind it. I'm not a big PCA fan. Especially like it was last year in the postseason. Like when he would struggle at the plate and just how he reacted, like slamming his stuff. And I think, was it last year they had Justin Turner on the team, and they said like he was really trying to mentor him and try to like kind of calm him down at times. And it's like, dude.
Well, and then World Baseball Classic comes, he hits 1 home run, and Cubs fans are like, oh, he's Captain America. And stop it.
Yeah, no. So, all right. Shot clock's going to cut us off in 30 seconds. So, coming up next hour, continue to send us your Takeover Thursday questions or topic ideas. What's a question that you have or a topic idea that you have that we should discuss? Send those on over. All right, send them on over. We want to hear them, and we want to discuss them. So, we've got Jake joining us at the bottom of the hour, and then we'll talk some Local Express with Craig Toyson coming up in about an